Hi, welcome to 5 Minutes with All Events Planned. Today we're going to talk about creating a timeline for your wedding day. Now, this is something that I cannot cover in its entirety in 5 minutes because so many dynamics go into the creation of a timeline. However, if you're not hiring a planner, the timeline is the most critical element to the day. Even for those of you that are sitting there and saying, we're gonna have a super casual day, I don't want a restrictive timeline, we're just gonna play it by ear and it's gonna be a really relaxed event. That's not how wedding days go. Not when you're combining vendors, guests, food, pictures. There is no way for that day to casually run without some type of structure so that the people involved in the day know what to expect, know where to be, know who's in charge of what and when. So you're gonna want to create something so that everyone has some structure to follow for the day. Now, without 17 years of experience, you have no idea typically how the day goes, what this looks like, how long certain things take, and the best option is to err on the side of, that's a street sweeper, err on the side of too much time for everything. So from the morning of getting ready, you're going to need the timing for hair and makeup. You would want to talk with your hair and makeup artist and determine how much time they think they need. I would pad that. You're going to look at transportation. How are you getting to and from places? How long is that going to take? Pad that. You are going to want to consider traffic, parking, loading, someone forgetting something. The elements that go into determining how long everything takes are, we're going to be covered for everything. No matter if we run into issues, if we don't run into issues. Worst case, with a padded timeline, you end up with more time to relax and less time where you're panicked because you cannot follow through with the timeline like you thought in your head before you realize that with so many elements coming together, you don't have that kind of control over when things happen and who's doing what. Your photographer may get lost driving over to your photo session location. Your officiant may be 10 minutes late. There are so many elements that come together that create a variable in that timeline that you really have to be covered for all of it. And again, we're referencing you not having a wedding planner who's in charge of all of this to avoid all of this happening. This is a day that's kind of going by and you're just hoping that it works out. I just saw a coat hanger hanging in the background, so if everybody could ignore that. So what I would recommend is looking at the timeline, adding additional time to what you think might work, but getting input from each of your vendors so that you find out what each of them thinks that their time frame is going to take. So that when you're pulling everyone together, you have ideas from the event venue on how long dinner service takes for them. Pad that. They're gonna want to say it takes less time. You don't know that your guest will take a long time to sit down, that speeches will take longer than you think. Always err on the side of having too much time. A really simple one that people overlook is the receiving line. People will forget to add the time in for this. They will say that this will just take a few minutes. This is a really simple example. If you're standing outside of the church with 200 guests coming out and you are greeting each of these guests, you have no idea how long these people are going to take to talk with you, to stop and hug, to say what they think about how the day has gone so far, how excited they are for you. Receiving line for 200 people could take anywhere from 10 minutes to 40 minutes. And so determining how that looks is very critical to the rest of the day because sometimes you only have so much time at the church. Sometimes you want the entire family in the receiving line, which again puts you into another element of timing. How long is everyone going to want to talk to everyone in your family and bridal party? That's something very simple that tends to get overlooked a lot. And while that may seem irrelevant to you because your wedding's not at a church or because you're not doing a receiving line, the example is to show you that even these minor things are really complicated when they're done on a wedding day. So, obviously my advice is hire a wedding planner so that they can manage the timeline. However, if you can't, take into all of these critical elements so that you know what to expect for the day. hopefully that helps. That was your 5 minutes with all events planned. Thanks.